everybody. I'm Hillary Atkin from the Atkin Report, and I'm so excited to welcome Zae Romeo from The Voice to this edition of Hillary's Happy Hour. Zae, how are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. I cannot complain. How are you doing, Hillary?
I'm doing really good, and I had so much fun watching your blind audition. Congratulations on your four-chair turn while performing Harry Styles' Falling.
Thank you so much.
All the coaches fought so hard for you, and all of them commented on your musical talent. What was your strategy going in? What went through your mind? Like, if this happens, I'll do this. I'm curious as to what you thought before the actual performance on stage.
Yeah, so I 100% went in there with I really wanted Kelly. I wanted to be on Kelly's team. So I was like, just hoping that she would turn. I was like, if one coach turns, that'd be perfect. Please let it be Kelly. I was like, and then I was like, if Kelly or Nick turns, I'm going to pick Kelly over anybody. And so when all of them turned, I was sitting there and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I literally had no idea what to do. And they were talking to me and they were all saying different things and they were all telling me, oh, well, I could win the show with you and we could do this and this. And I was like, I don't know who to pick. And so I ended up picking Nick just because he was able to talk more about like my influences as an artist, the kind of songs that he thought I should sing, stuff like that. And we kind of clicked. And so I was like, I have to go with Nick. So I ended up choosing him.
Well, it was pretty amazing just, watching this show to see him correctly call out Labyrinth as one of your
Mhm.
influences.
Yeah.
And, he said your performance was phenomenal. I mean, all of them were so complimentary of you, but did
Mhm.
that when he correctly identified Labyrinth, did that maybe turn a little switch for you to go for Nick as well?
It did. That was when I switched from Kelly to Nick because I was 100% the whole entire time I was in LA for the blinds. I was going to pick Kelly. That's who I went with the intent of picking. And when he was able to correctly call out my influences, it kind of switched. I switched over to him, and then I ended up going with him as my coach.
Gosh, Kelly's going to be so sad to hear all this. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're all great, but what do you hope to learn from Nick moving forward this season?
Mhm. Um, he is such a similar artist to me, and the more I learn about him, the more I find that we are so similar in artistry and in just vocal ability. And so I'm hoping like he can teach me, especially when it comes to like fast songs and like using the stage. And I'm not a fast song singer. Like I'm not the best at performing fast songs, whereas Nick excels in those faster upbeat songs. And so I'm hoping he can teach me how to, I mean, I can sing them, but I don't know that I just feel real awkward, moving and dancing around the stage. And so I'm hoping that Nick can help bring out that part of me where I can do these fast songs and move around the stage and dance and all of that great stuff.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that. That's you painted an excellent visual image of that. And another thing I wanted to ask you about is what you think of the team gifts this season, and is having a Nick's Notes notebook the best thing ever?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so so they had warned us. They didn't tell us what the gifts were. Everybody knows Kelly's gift is a jacket because that's been her thing for so long.
Right.
But they didn't tell us what all the coaches were gonna do. So we all wanted to know what Nick, John, and Blake were gonna do. We all knew Kelly, and so they were like, if you go on the stage and you pick Nick as your coach, make sure you're standing on this point on the floor because something's gonna come down from the ceiling. And so in my mind, I was like, oh, we're gonna be slimed. Like that, I was thinking like Nickelodeon, like we're gonna be slimed. And so I was like looking around, and then the journal came down. At first I thought he gave me a Bible. And I was like, what? This is so cool. And then I went and I was like, oh, it's blank. It's a journal. And it was in like the fancy little box, and it was so cool. And in my opinion, that is the best gift because I can write in it, I can use it for many things. But I love the fact that John sings a song when I first heard about that, like people were like, yeah, John sang me a song. And I'm like, he did what? He didn't give you something tangible? Like, no, he sang me a song, and apparently like the song just gets better and better and better and better with each person he adds to his team. And so I think that's just really cool. And then with like the bobblehead, of course it's gotta be something funny, which is, and obviously you can carry that everywhere with you. So yeah.
Yeah, that is the funniest one, the bobblehead that doesn't really look like Blake. But
Yeah. I'm real surprised that they weren't able to make it look like him. That is so funny.
it is funny, but no, it's very cool to have Nick's notes, especially for songwriters, and to keep a journal of the experience. Like what a cool gift. So I'm sure you will treasure it. And
Yeah.
just as a viewer, the story of your upbringing and your family and being with your siblings was so moving. And I wanted to hear about the support that you've gotten from them as well.
So my family, my friends, and all of McKinney, it's been really cool, especially since my blind audition aired, to see that same support come tumbling in. And I've always known it was there since I came back from when I ran away as a kid. I've known that I had this big support system, and it's so cool to see like all the signs and the shirts and everybody commenting on my posts and sharing them, and people coming out of nowhere and being like, hey, I remember when all of that went down a few years ago, and I was there, and I remember this, and my high school did like a feature on me, and they've been so supportive over there. And so it's so cool to know that I have that support. And my family, of course, has been the most supportive. They're always that way, and they're always checking on me. My mom she's so funny because she's like, oh, I feel like I'm famous now too, because she's also getting all these messages, and she gets the notifications from whenever I get like a comment on a post on Facebook. And so she's also getting all these notifications and messages, and she's like, oh, it's so funny because I feel like I'm famous. And yeah, I won't say it's shocking, but it's just been so crazy to see the level of support that I have here.
That's so great. And I just, last question, because I know you have to get back to rehearsing, but tell us about your nickname, Zae, which is obviously from Isaiah, but what a cool name. But how did you get that nickname?
So so I know they kind of talked a little bit about my story, but my adopted parents, and then I have my biological mom, who she calls me Zae Romeo. And I wanted to kind of add something in there from her, so I kept the Romeo part. And then Zae has been like my nickname. A lot of people growing up called me Zae. I worked at Chili's, and when I was working there was another guy named Isaiah, and I was like, well, I don't want to make this difficult, so I told everyone to just call me Zae and then call him Isaiah. And so that's where I pulled the Zae from. And so this together became Zae Romeo, and it's like the perfect name. I love it. It's so cool to have this cool stage name, and yeah, it's been really cool.
It is very cool. And it's a very memorable name. I love it. I've loved seeing you perform. I look forward to more. And before we sign off, I want to raise a toast to you, Zae, and your continued success on The Voice. I look forward to sharing your journey.
Yes, thank you so much.
Been a pleasure having you. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.